Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Payoff Pitch presented by Fantasy Phenom. I'm Kyle. That is Mike. Back to recap Saturday's 15 games and look forward to Sunday's 10, 11 game main and
10 game main, yes.
10 game main and 5 game late. Total another 15 games.
I like your thinking face. It's always one eye's closed and you look up.
Yeah, that's always. I'm always.
Today is Wednesday.
Wednesday. Shit, dude. Man, today was fun. As you can see, I got my desk set up. I'm no longer on my bed, so that's good.
Positive.
I was. I took a handheld jackhammer to tile today. Fantastic. If you can see this here cut, that was a deep cut, and I didn't even realize I was bleeding because I was sweating while I was doing this, and apparently a piece of tile hit my head and cut deep enough to where it covered my entire face with blood. So that was fun, but like I said, didn't realize I was bleeding until someone pointed it out to me.
Hashtag UFC 214.
Right. I think I was more bloodied than any of the fighters.
Where do you get one of those, man?
I have no idea. Family friend.
Well, you gotta hook me up, man.
My mom came up with it today. She's like, "Hey, Kevin lent us this. Kevin's one of their friends," and I was like, "All right, cool. I guess I'll get to work on the tile."
Word.
Trying to think if there's any other exciting news. I broke that every other day thing. So I was telling you guys last night on the show, every other day I don't cash. And I was going to play light. I played a $12 main today, and I finished top 20 in a GPP, won $60, and I'm happy AF. I played literally the exact line that I said I was going to play on the show last night. All the guys in that lineup ended up playing, and it worked out fantastic.
Yeah, trusted your strategy, and it definitely worked out, man. If you paid for pitching, obviously if you look at this top 5 here, it didn't work out for you. Greinke did his thing, but still,
value-wise, yeah. Shout out to Jeremy, who's on Marquez since like 3 days ago when the game got rained out. That dude took a perfect game into the 6th inning, I think it was. Yeah, and then Matt Wieters' single broke it up. He balled out. Kevin Gausman stayed hot. Glad we didn't stack against him. And then Adam Conley for 5-8 on DraftKings not only outscored Corey Kluber in value, he outscored him in raw points.
Yeah, we were a bit wavering on Gausman and Conley, but we did touch on them in a bit more detail than the rest of the starters, so we can give ourselves that credit. And yeah, I'm pretty sure Jeremy took down the DK free roll. I didn't look at FanDuel yet, but I'm sure if he played the same guy or similar lineups, he probably did as well.
Also, my boy Dinelson Lamet makes a return to the top 5. That was my pairing, man. Conley and Lamet.
He does.
People, and it was funny because in the live chat last night, some of the guys were asking
roasting.
No, some of the guys were asking like, Kyle, who's your SP1? And I was like, Lamet. And that's hard to stomach for some people, but it sticks with my theory of I just can't. If I can't get the bats I want, I won't pay up for pitching, and I'm gonna continue to do that.
I did end up playing both in season long too. I was like, fuck it, I'm playing both. It's in San Diego, why not? It worked out, so.
Did it?
Him and Nova. Padres, yeah, it was like a 4-2 game.
Yeah, Padres stay hot.
They ended up striking out 6.
Okay. Padres stay hot, man. I can't pitch against them right now. Man,
Marquez, that's 4 straight good starts.
Yeah. Dude had a 33% K rate coming into today. And that was the thing, man. You have to remember that besides that 8 home run game, Washington was cold as hell coming into today's game. And they remain cold. Eduardo Nunez made a big splash for the Red Sox. His second game with the club, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
2 home run game, 3 RBIs. Rajay Davis, if I'm not mistaken, hit a walk-off today. Bob Melvin won his 1,000th game. I think I said that correctly. Whit Merrifield, part of that Royal stack, holding me down. Odubel Herrera, and Manuel Margot, part of that hot AF Padres team.
Mm-hmm. Weird top 5 with batters today, too. I mean, not what you would expect. Eduardo Nunez doesn't do much as far as power. This is pretty much it for him. Yeah. The only thing he's pretty much really good at is losing his helmet while running the bases. He would lead the league if that was a statistical category, mark my words, but it's not. So he did hit 2 home runs, though, so cool.
Yeah, props to you if you played him. He was very, very low owned.
I bet.
He was like 7% owned, but it is what it is, man.
I would venture to say this top 5 was a combined 30% owned.
Probably makes sense. Whit Merrifield was 1% owned in my GPP. I don't know how. Literally, my thoughts on Kansas City is when they're facing a bad pitcher. Like, as of right now, I'm not stacking them against Pomeranz today. But it's really, really simple. When they're facing a lefty, you play the righties. Merrifield, Kane, Bonifacio. And when they're playing a righty, you play the lefties. Hosmer, Moose, Moss.
Yeah, fancy that.
It's crazy, but it works.
First, before we get into this Yankee game, shout out to Dad Malevi wearing his high school baseball jersey. Hope you're watching. Love you, Dad.
All right, man. Caleb Smith sucked today. That was
He wasn't awful, but I mean he gave up those home runs. That's what Tampa does.
True. Curtis is in the chat. What's up, buddy?
Yo.
So, when I looked at the slate today, or tonight, making my line, I'm going through the pitching pricing, I'm going, and bam, I see Jordan Montgomery sitting at 8K. Why is he 8K? I'm not sure. Tampa Bay, waivers lefties, not good. Again, highest strikeout rate. Jordan Montgomery has strikeout stuff. He's actually pitched well over his last couple games. And to me, that is a severe, severe price flaw. And I'm going to exploit that.
He's got the matchup, right? Against Tampa Bay against a lefty.
Yep.
On the road. They strike out a ton. And this guy has swing and miss stuff. Remains in the top 10 in swing strike rate this season. Both these pitches have been quite a surprise. I would say Jordan Montgomery, I talked about some possible regression, being that he's got such deception with his off-speed stuff that perhaps some of these AL East teams would pick it up in time. And so there is some caution to the wind in that, with Tampa being an AL East team and seeing him. But still, I mean, this team as a whole...
still strike out.
They strike out a ton, so it's definitely a plus matchup for him. So I feel you on the pricing there. Like you said, you look at this slate landscape, it's similar to today. It really is. You've got, one guy to pay up to? Who I forget who it is. But the rest is kind of these mid-range options, that you can't feel too comfortable about. So you look at matchups, and I think Montgomery fits that mold. Did you know that Jake Faria carries around a lucky rubber duck?
I did not. That is rather interesting, though.
Yeah.
Why?
So, I don't know. He was given a rubber duck by his father, I believe, when he was in the fall league. I don't know. You can read about it on my Twitter if you want. I started to read about it and was like, oh, this is cool. I'm going to bring it up. He's got a lucky rubber duck that he carries with him. That's all I got.
Well, all right then. I'm not stacking against Faria, but he has not been good as of late. Strikeouts way down, WOBA's up, Average against is up. Hard contact, fly ball, all that's up. So you can make a case to stack some Yankees here. I mean, I would if I had to pick here, I'd rather stack Yankees than play for you, but I find myself fading both.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. Also, the Yankees did pitch Betances, Canely, Robertson, and Chapman today.
Okay.
For what it's worth.
Curtis asks, can we ride Gardner's hot streak?
At 5K, I say no.
I'm with you.
But I see why you'd want to. I don't know that this is the right spot. I mean, think about who he's been playing as far as opposing pitchers.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we do know the dude is mad streaky, right? Gardner's when he's
true.
on,
It's very true.
When he's on, he's on. But you're paying a hefty price on both sides, man. Gardner's 4-2 on FanDuel. Some pretty company in that price range on both sides. I don't know if Gardner's that go-to guy.
On the year, Jake Faria with a hard contact rate under 20% versus lefties as well.
Yeah. We have LA and Toronto. Cesar Valdez makes another start, pitched well against Oakland, and then Jesse Chavez didn't pitch well against Cleveland. But
not surprising.
Yeah, of course. Interesting situation here. Toronto, coldish.
Yeah.
Lost again today after having a lead. And then Angels have been swinging the bats better as of late.
I'm taking fade here, man. To be honest, I know there's poor pitching in this game, but I can't find myself to stomach the bats.
I have a complete
fade
here.
Yeah, there's no reason for me to pay down for bats today, so I don't see why. Maybe you go one-offs with Smoke and Trout because the pitching is bad. Chavez gives up a ton of home runs, so I can see why you'd want to go maybe some home run hitters to pay there, but on Toronto, but they've just not been playing well. Like you said, lost again today.
Yeah.
When it rains, it pours there.
Cincy in Miami, Luis Castillo and Dan Straley. This is another something's got to give matchup. Cincinnati has not been playing well of late. Besides Votto and Duvall today, is nothing. Adam Conley shut him down. Almost went 8 innings. If they would have let him, unfortunately, he gave that hit to Votto where they pulled him. And then we have Luis Castillo, who continues to be a nice surprise. A tough opening schedule, as you mentioned last time, and he gets another tough opponent in the Red Hot Marlins. I mean, Straley's been bad. Reds have been bad. Luis Castillo's been good. Marlins have been good.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you got to pick which one you value more here. I think Castillo has been good enough, and his numbers have come way down in terms of the fly ball and hard contact category, that I don't find myself rushing to stack Miami. I mean, you got to consider them with their recent performance, but not my number one stack. And then I just don't know that I can stack Cincinnati right now. They are mad cold.
Yeah, I mean, Straley's given up 28 hits, I believe. Or, I'm sorry. Yeah, 28 hits in his last 3 starts. It's a ton. And the strikeout numbers haven't been there. You see those last 14-day numbers. It's pretty much blood red across the board. He's not been good. Cincinnati as well, not been good. Like you said, something has to give. Castillo did make my player pool because of the slate landscape. This is a positive matchup if you look at who he's been playing.
Mm-hmm.
I think Miami obviously bottom in the league. You look up and down this lineup. The 1 through 4 is kind of scary, but the rest isn't. And he's got some K upside. So on a slate where there really isn't much to like at pitching, I think he makes a pool for me.
Okay. Houston, Detroit, Justin Verlander and Lance McCullers. Lance McCullers has been way bad of late, and Justin Verlander has really turned it on. Reading the stat today, Justin Verlander historically, first half ERA over 5, second half ERA under 3. So if you buy into that, over the course of his career, it is now the second half, and his numbers are continuing to do well.
It is Houston, though, so I don't know, man. I don't think I could pull the trigger there. And McCullers is that guy I was telling you there's one guy to pay up to. It's McCullers. I think he's at 12 too, and then the drop-off goes to like 9K on DK at least. But it's a tough. I know. I mean, Detroit plays well at home, so.
I could see a Detroit stack being sneaky tomorrow.
It's something's got to give there too. I mean, because McCullers is this big StatCast guy, keeps the ball on the ground, strikes a ton of people out, really doesn't give up hard contact, and that's kind of Detroit's game. They don't strike out a ton, and when they do make contact, they're very selective and they hit the ball hard. So, yeah, we'll see what happens here.
This obviously won't be George Springer, but yeah, I'm with you. I don't know. I kind of like Castellanos and Miguel Cabrera two-man tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't see McCullers significantly outscoring the rest of the pitchers on this slate.
Nah.
I don't see a justification for paying up if you don't need to.
Nah, not against the Tigers. Not going to do that either. We got Atlanta and Philly. R.A. Dickey, my mans, is 64 and 67 on DraftKings and FanDuel respectively. I know Philadelphia is hot. He did just put up 32 points last time he faced them. That's in DraftKings points.
Dickey did?
He did. 32 DraftKings points. One thing that I kind of like about Dickey is Philadelphia is a very young team. And they probably, throughout their careers, have not seen the knuckleball a ton.
Yeah, and they're getting younger. And we talked about this. I remember talking about this last time they were in Atlanta, I think. And it worked out, He had a good game, like you said. So
yeah.
I'm with it. On this slate at 6,400, Dickey is in play, as much as it pains me to say.
Dude is limiting hard contact so much. 18% in his last 3 starts.
Mm-hmm.
I like it, man. I have Dickey. As of right now, like I said, my 2 pitchers are Jordan Montgomery and R.A. Dickey. So that's where I'm going.
Cool.
And then what about attacking Vince Velasquez? Can we do that?
I don't know, man. Atlanta's been
bad.
Yeah, they've been getting the regression monster pretty hard. I think Kemp hit the DL today. See what happens there.
He did. Take him out. I don't know, man. I don't find myself playing Velasquez, but I don't know that I can play Atlanta bats either.
Yeah, I'm thinking this might be a game fade for me. Overall, besides maybe Franco and Altier and Herrera for what they've been doing. Maybe Dickey. But yeah.
I'm with you. Whew. Kyle Freeland and Eric, is it Feta? I don't know how you say it. This is part of a doubleheader, so obviously Washington made a roster move to cover one of the starts. Brought up this guy. Kyle Freeland has been pitching really, really well of late, and he gets a Washington team in a slump, and also their worst split is at home versus lefties. They hold an ISO of only 131, a K rate of 22%, and a fly ball rate of under 29%. Kyle Freeland interest you at all?
A little bit, yeah. I think so. Throws the fastball a ton. I think he's number 1 as far as fastball percentage of his pitch repertoire. Reading here that Strasburg was diagnosed on Wednesday with a nerve impingement in his elbow, which is why they have called up Eric Fetty-Wap. Not? I don't know. He's definitely their. He says it says that he's their top pitching prospect, number 70 overall according to midseason top 100 prospects in Baseball America. Let's see here. 24 years old, fastball upper 90s. Not sure what the leash will be, but Colorado hasn't been hitting the ball well, so perhaps, man. again, slate landscape dictates paying down for pitching. So
Yeah, I'll tell you that I will not be stacking Colorado.
So, yeah, that's the rule, you know.
I don't
First
stack.
time facing.
Yep.
Right.
MLB debut. Early season debut. I don't think he's pitched in the MLB before, though, correct? I don't have.
I don't know that for sure, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
At 24,
maybe.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Maybe I'll pay down to him. I mean, R.A. Dickey I like, but Phillies are hot. Colorado's not, so maybe I pay down to him. I don't know. We'll see. And then Kyle Freeland, like I said, he does intrigue me. 6,600 on DraftKings, 73 on FanDuel. I don't know that he's my go-to guy on FanDuel where I only get one pitcher. Not at 7,300, but on DraftKings, very, very good SP2 candidate, or even an SP1 if you like to be, different like me.
Contrarian, I mean, he is right next to Dickey in price. I think Dickey might get some looks tomorrow, so
yeah.
Definitely contrarian approach with Freeland as far as price pivot.
We have Jason Hamill and Drew Pomeranz, both pitchers pitching well of late. Drew Pomeranz holds a average against of 206 in his last 3 starts. Jason Hamill even lower at 194. But Jason Hamill is not good on the road, and that is not good for me. I don't find myself playing Jason Hamill. Still don't find myself stacking Boston in this matchup. And then I'm going to not stack Kansas City tomorrow. I respect Drew Pomeranz enough from what he's been doing to not stack against him.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on this one, man. As much as I like Kansas City, I do respect it. And then with Boston, how poorly they've been playing, and I'm looking here, Hamill's only given up more than 3 earned runs once in his last 10 starts.
Wow.
So he's not pitching deep into games.
But that Kansas City,
the walks have been an issue. Yeah, so they don't really need him to at this point. I don't know. I think this could be a tricky game to figure out. I'm not saying that I want to fade it overall, but definitely going to take a second look here to look at what bats to go with.
I think
not feeling a stack on either side, but I don't think it's a fade.
Whit Merrifield is still in play for me. Him and Bonifacio, 2-man, deserves a look. Sal Perez at 3,700.
Kane had a good game today.
Yeah, Kane as well. Sal Perez would probably be my favorite one off at 3,700 on DraftKings, 34 on FanDuel. I told you guys this history in Fenway of recent last night, so somewhere I would look. And then on Boston against Hamill, I mean, his price is coming down on DraftKings at least. Moreland and Benintendi, maybe that 2-man is where I'd look. But Hamill's more of a reverse splits guy, so I don't know. Maybe Hanley but he's priced up.
I'd rather target the righties in that ballpark, though.
Yeah, true. I don't know. It's a tough spot for me. I hate stacking Boston as is, so. Chicago and Milwaukee, John Lackey and Zach Davies. Milwaukee's mad cold, and their prices are not indicating it, at least on DraftKings. And John Lackey, we know, can give up home runs. So what are you looking at here?
This series has been kind of surprisingly low scoring in Miller Park. Talk about 2 teams fighting for,
fighting for the.
These are important games, and the pitching has prevailed but it hasn't been that great at pitching matchups. So it's interesting. I think this is another one where I would rather pay for bats than even look at pitching. And Lackey giving up 25 home runs this season, going to Miller Park. It feels like this is a way to go to Milwaukee. Now, they haven't been performing well, and their prices haven't come down much on DraftKings. Like, I'd like to go Travis Shaw. That's the first guy I'd look at for who do you think's going to hit a home run? But 4,800 is not cheap. So,
not cheap at all.
But then again, there's not really pitching that I want to pay up to. So that's not as much of a concern as it would be otherwise. So Yeah, I think I could look at some. Braun had a good game today. I think I could look middle of the order here for some pop.
And then what about attacking Zach Davies? You get behind that?
Hmm.
I don't
No,
find myself stacking against him. Maybe Schwarber.
I have been going to the Cubs the first 2 games of the series, and it's not been paying off. That's the only reason I'm second guessing it.
Mm-hmm.
But you'd think in this ballpark, in a game that they really want to win, and if I'm expecting Milwaukee to score runs, they're going to be pressured to score as well. So I could see it, but it's tough. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have names for you as far as in this lineup of where I want to go.
I could see a couple Cubs versus Davies, but again, not my favorite spot. I would rather stack Brewers in this matchup.
Right. Definitely.
Indians and White Sox. Indians stay hot. They won today 5-4. Josh Tomlin and Carlos Rodon. Tomlin has been pitching well of late, but factor in his opponents. Rodon, high strikeout rate, but also a incredibly high WOBA of 547 and a average against of 389. Not good numbers for me, but his xFIP of 3.6 indicates that he may be getting a little bit unlucky.
Yeah. It's been a short season for him, though, so it's hard to go by predictive measures with short sample. 11. He struck out 11 Cubs in 4 innings in his last start. That's kind of, that's got to be a DF. Yeah, it's DFS worthy of a look. But in the start before that, he gave up 4 home runs to the Dodgers in less than 4 innings. So you put him in this ballpark, and that game was at home.
Mm-hmm.
So put him in this ballpark against a team that is as hot as Cleveland. I'm scared to pitch Rodon, and I think Cleveland's in play again. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, they stay hot. I don't like Cleveland as much versus a lefty as I do versus a righty. But this White Sox bullpen is so bad because they just don't have anybody left. That if they can get to Rodon at all and get him out of the game, they're going to get some righty arms in there, and then all of a sudden that Cleveland stack can come to life. So I'm with you.
Yeah, and last time they faced a lefty, they put Santana in leadoff. So if he's leading off again at 8% K rate,
yeah.
I think that's a guy that I look at as part of at least a 2-man stack if I'm going Cleveland. Because he's going to foul pitches off and get to the pitch he wants. A guy that gives up extra bases, or is shown to at least.
And then what about White Sox? I don't find myself stacking here. Just haven't been swinging the bat as well of late.
Yeah, there's no need to pay down. So I agree. Maybe Tomlin's a sneaky play, but
yeah. Plus they're not good versus righties. Then we have Taijuan Walker and Lance Lynn. Taijuan Walker 74 and 76 on FanDuel, DraftKings. Lynn 8K and 8-4. Do you find yourself pitching either guy? I find myself fading both sides of the bats here. I hate playing Arizona on the road. Lance Lynn has been actually pitching really well this year and better as of late. So I don't see any reason to go to an Arizona stack.
I am considering Taijuan Walker tomorrow. He is cheap enough that I feel like maybe we see a good start from him. It's been up and down season for him.
Yep.
But he's got the stuff, man. And St. Louis, they've been kind of middle of the pack recently, so I don't say this is a plus matchup for him, but again, slate landscape dictates kind of going to that mid-range, and I think Taijuan Walker is a little too cheap tomorrow.
Fair enough. He has K upside for sure. We know his upside. And then finally, last game on this, if I'm not mistaken, is Baltimore and Texas. Wade Miley and Martin Perez. Both teams not good in this scenario. Baltimore not great on the road. Texas not good at home versus lefties. I don't know, man. In my initial roster build, I actually found myself game stacking because Miley and
Hmm.
Perez have not been good. But I might be talking myself off of it.
I never really like to stack against Perez, but
Wade Miley, though.
yeah, Wade Miley though, exactly.
um,
Hmm.
Beltre, I can still play that. Beltre, Andrus, Napoli. I think, you know what, those are still three spots I can go. Lucroy or Chirinos if he plays. I don't know. I think I'd stick with the Texas stack and probably fade the Baltimore bats.
The
I might.
problem with the Texas stack is the price is caught up.
It's fine. I'm
I
paying down
mean,
at pitching.
I know. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah, I'm with you, though.
it was like $1,000 price rise was from Mazzara today.
Yeah. Talk about dynamic pricing. Didn't change on FanDuel, of course. But
Yeah.
I think I still might stick with Texas. Napoli has been hot. I believe he has the most home runs in July of any batter.
Hmm.
So, fun fact. Beltre, obviously one hit away from 3K. I'd imagine he plays tomorrow. Andrus, he's been playing well. So, I still think I can go Texas. I think I'd fade Baltimore, though, on second look against Perez, like you said.
Yeah. And definitely don't play the lefties versus a lefty. I mean, on Texas.
No. Yeah, he destroys left-handed batting.
And Mazzara, 172 average versus lefties.
He might even
Odor,
sit tomorrow.
167.
Yeah, they may sit Mazzara
So,
tomorrow. I'm not playing any
yeah.
lefties in this game. No lefty bats for me.
Right.
So, and then we have Minnesota and Oakland in the late slate. Sonny Gray, as of right now, is starting. We'll see what
I thought they
happens.
scratched him.
Did they?
Yeah, I read they scratched him. It's going to be Jarrell Cotton.
Oh, well, there
Pretty
you go.
sure.
You are right. It is Jarrell Cotton. So there you go. Obviously swirling in trade talks, so it makes sense why they scratched him. Not going to risk
Yep.
that. So, thoughts on attacking Bartolo Colon here?
Definitely game stack if you're playing late slate. I think this is the one to go. Cotton's coming off a DL with a finger injury on his pitching hand, and he's been sidelined for pretty much the entire month with this issue. He did have a pretty good rehab start that, I guess, told the management that he was ready to come back, but still, I mean, I don't think he's that great. He hasn't really shown anything to make me feel like he's that great. And then Bartolo, I mean, enough said. I don't know. What do you want me to do?
Oakland at home, good splits. I don't find myself playing Jarrell Cotton.
Especially versus righties.
What's up?
Especially versus righties at home.
Yeah. So I can get behind an Oakland stack. Joyce, Chris Davis, Yonder Alonso. Jed Lowry's been cold, but you know I can get there too. So I'm with you. Don't find myself playing any Jarrell Cotton.
Nah.
Probably some Oakland bats though in play, and then I don't find myself stacking Minnesota either. But it's enough, like I said, to fade Cotton.
Is this a full 5-game slate? Let's see.
It is, because you have the second half of the Washington doubleheader.
Okay. Cool.
So, New York and Seattle. As expected, Jacob deGrom on the road. Lived up to that name. Not the guy you wanted to play on early.
Rich Hill did his thing again, man.
Yep. So, glad I faded that. Didn't cash in the early, but at least, you know, I'm glad that I faded that. James Paxton seems to me like the clear cut to go to tomorrow. The dude.
Yeah, it seems like the play of the day if you're playing all day.
Yeah, I would pay up to him tomorrow. I will find a way to pay up to James Paxton in that afternoon slate.
12-2 on DraftKings. He has just been
Unreal.
unreal. Yeah, and it's strange because he really doesn't have Much like besides this, he's kind of fastball slider with an occasional changeup, man. But he just throws strikes, and that is just a winning strategy. I mean, 10 wins already for Seattle.
Yeah. I will say the one thing that gives me pause is the Mets splits away versus lefties, and they've actually played Seattle relatively well so far in this series. Put up some nice numbers 2 nights ago. Not the best today.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I always value pitching over bats in terms of, if I have an elite matchup of a pitcher and bats, I usually will favor the pitcher, and I think in this case that's the case.
That's the case, yeah. I mean, that game 2 days ago was against Miranda, who's also a lefty, and Miranda struck out 10 Mets. So I think Paxton's a much better strikeout pitcher.
Gave up 4 earned runs, but the strikeouts alone made him a great DFS play.
Right. So if Paxton in Miranda's spot, which he will be, reason for believing this will be a good play.
What about Seth Lugo?
What about him?
You going there? Stacking against him?
Yeah, sure, why not? I mean, who else are you going to stack against besides Bartolo?
I'll stack Padres.
Yeah, you can. Against Garrett Cole.
Or maybe some Giants against Ryu. I don't know. Or Nationals or Rockies. I don't know. Maybe on that doubleheader. We'll see. Who's pitching that doubleheader? It is going to be John Gray.
Edwin.
John Gray and Edwin Jackson. Might stack some Rockies. As much as I hate playing them on the road.
I don't know. I like to stack the Seattle.
Okay.
Stack.
I'm with you. Makes sense. Pittsburgh and San Diego, we have Garrett Cole, who's been pitching well, and Clayton Richard, who has not, in his last couple starts, a 4.35 average against 4.76 WOBA. Yeah. Guys are seeing him well. Pittsburgh does hit lefties better than righties, so there is something to be said about that. McCutchen stays hot. Starlin Marte, I think you can look there. Josh Harrison, if those guys play, you can make a case for a Pittsburgh stack as well.
Yeah, you can make a case for a game stack here to pay down to get to Paxton.
Yeah, true. Padres stay hot, man. Manuel
Pittsburgh's
Margot,
not hot.
Yeah, Pittsburgh is not hot. Manuel Margot is out of this world hot right now, though. And he's still cheap.
Yeah, Padres been waiting for that to happen all year.
Jabari Blash, Corey Spangenberg, like both those guys. So, lefties can still get to Cole, too.
Yeah, Cole's way overpriced on DK.
Yeah. Hector Sanchez, catcher, 2,700, 2K on FanDuel if he plays. Lefty versus Cole, I like that. He has power upside. So, I do think you can go game stack here. And then Sunday night game, San Fran and Los Angeles. Giants moved up Madison Bumgarner, scratched Matt Cain. Probably has something to do with the fact that it's Sunday night and Giants still care about this rivalry. So, I mean, that's literally all they're playing for.
This one game.
Yeah. I don't know that I can play Madison Bumgarner, though. It is Sunday night, but with James Paxton on the slate, I don't know how I don't pay James Paxton over Bum.
I will say I'd rather play Bumgarner than Garrett Cole.
That is
How about that?
100% true.
How's that for a bold statement?
I don't think that's bold at all.
At the Dodgers instead of at San Diego? I mean, I think most DFS players would say it's kind of bold. But yeah, I think just getting a $1,200 price savings, I don't see why not.
I don't know, man. I just feel like, I mean, Bum is still got to be respected. Sunday night game, lights are on. We know what he does in big games. Not saying it's a big game, but I don't know. I don't find myself paying for Cole at all tomorrow, especially not when Bum is cheaper.
Also, keep in mind, guys, the trade deadline is at 4 o'clock tomorrow. So Definitely going to be an interesting, if you're playing this late slate, for example, or even early. I mean, definitely going to be an interesting leading up to lock type of day.
Even mid-game, man, guys get pulled.
Exactly. So keep in mind that who's kind of on the block and who could be potentially traded when you're building your lineups. I think that's definitely a worthy narrative tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm with that. So, all right. Looking back, kind of the guys we're looking to pitch. I think we were both in agreement on Jordan Montgomery a little too cheap. Definitely looking at some R.A. Dickey. I think Eric Fede is in consideration for his price.
Mm-hmm.
Who else are we looking at?
I like Walker.
Yeah, I like Lance Lynn more than Walker, but price is not. He's a little more expensive on both sides. And then on the late slate, I like James Paxton and Madison Bumgarner. Personally,
yeah. Same.
I don't know what
I would try to fit that in.
Yeah, maybe some John Gray. I could see paying down there with that doubleheader.
True.
And then stacks we're looking at. I still think the Yankees are in consideration. I still like Miami, even though Castillo has been playing well. I think if you don't play Castillo, you can stack Miami. That's kind of a one or the other situation. I do like some Kansas City one-offs. Merrifield, Bonifacio, Kane, Salvi. There's some guys there. I don't know that I full stack there. I like the Milwaukee side more than the Chicago side. I still like Cleveland. I like Texas. And then on the afternoon slate, I like Pittsburgh versus Richard, and I like the Padres versus Cole. And then if I had to, I'd stack Rockies against Edwin Jackson.
Yeah, Milwaukee, Cleveland stands out to me on the early slate. And on the late slate, I agree. I don't know, man. I feel like you're going to have to pay down. I kind of like that, what we were talking about with the game stacks in Oakland and in San Diego. That's kind of where I'm going to go.
Okay. I feel it. So there you go, guys. That is where we are at. Last day for this week. No lock show tomorrow. Going to be continuing the construction. Bear with me for probably the next couple weekends. That's going to kind of be the thing. Out of respect to the parents, they're coming up to help with the construction. It would be a really bad look if I hopped on a show while they were helping with the construction. So,
and I am unfortunately tied up on the clock.
Yeah. So, but back Monday with the lock shows, and continue to get to that cash time. We see you guys winning. Shout out real quick to JC. Took down a GPP today. Everyone knows who he is in the River community. So shout out to you, sir. Well deserved. And yeah, so I'll be in River probably until like 8 Pacific time tomorrow. If you guys have any questions, lineups, we'll have a lot of the lineups out by then. So, and then after that, probably not available for most of the rest of the day. So
yeah, we'll hold it down. No, I mean tomorrow's gonna be a fun day. Trade deadlines is definitely a lot going on in baseball. A lot of good matchups, like you said, like we talked about. Probably gonna be a lot of offense as well. So definitely gonna be a lot to discuss tomorrow night.
Yes, sir. So, all right, guys, we'll make it a profitable.
Tune in.
Yeah, make it a profitable Sunday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow night.
All right, guys, have a good night.